Suda's fist pounded against the basement door. His voice cracked. Sir, please, let me out. For a split second, he thought he was saved. But the man's hand shoved him back, forcing him into an old cabinet. The lock sealed shut. Darkness swallowed him. Suda jolted awake, chest heaving, breath shallow. His shirt clung to his skin with sweat. A faint vibration pulled his gaze to the nightstand. His phone buzzed endlessly, screen glowing in the dark. He picked it up. Missed calls 6 Tuesday. Missed calls 23 Manami. Unread messages 47. Before he could scroll, the screen lit up again. Incoming call Manami. The line filled with muffled sob. Manami, are you crying? Didn't you read my messages? She asked, voice trembling. A sharp inhale, then,
Not yet.
Not yet. Daddy, he's gone. Her words shattered into sobs. Suda's grip on the phone tightened, but his mind went blank. Only her crying reached him. At last, her voice wavered again. I know things weren't good between you and Dad, but please, can you come? Big Brother Chuzé wants you here too. Seconds dragged on before Suda answered. I'll try. Bro, Suda, please. Get some rest, Manami. His voice was low, careful. Okay, I'll be waiting for you to come home. She whispered, another sob slipping out. The call ended. Suda lowered the phone slowly. In the quiet of his room, he sat frozen. His chest heavy, his thoughts heavier. That night, Suda realized there was no turning back. The house was quiet. He grabbed a bottle of water and took a drink. After that, he heard footsteps coming down the stairs. His uncle, a veteran police inspector, was already dressed coat on. Fresh blood? He asked softly, as if asking the time. A small knowing smile tugged at his lips. He said, rubbing his chin. Then with a direct look, he added, Are you coming to hunt the rat? Suda didn't answer. Instead, he gave a small, almost imperceptible smile and nodded slightly. His uncle let out a quiet laugh. I knew it. He opened the door and said, Get dressed. I'll wait for you in the car. A few minutes later, the engine hummed as they drove through the dark streets. Police cars were lined along the street, their red and blue lights flashing rhythmically against nearby houses. Yellow crime scene tape stretched across the house, fluttering slightly in the cold air. When they arrived, officers were already positioned around the area. Sir, the senior officers greeted, standing straighter. But the new recruits stared and they whispered among themselves, confused. Wait, isn't he a kid? Why does the inspector have a high schooler with him? Suda ignored the murmurs. He stood beside his uncle, eyes already scanning the scene, as if piecing together a story no one else could see. His uncle noticed and smiled faintly. He knew the game had already begun. The study room smelled of blood and gunpowder. A man in his late 50s sat slumped in a leather armchair. A revolver rested in his right hand. Blood spread across his white shirt from a gunshot wound in his chest. His eyes were open, staring at the ceiling. Inspector Hiro, he worked many cases and he knew better than to trust first impressions. Next to him was his 17-year-old nephew, Suda. He looked quiet and uninterested, hands in his hoodie pockets, but his eyes were alert, watching everything. They stood near the body, carefully looking around the room. "This looks like suicide, sir," said Officer Ramirez, a new police. Gun in hand. One shot to the chest. Inspector Hero shook his head slightly. "Don't rush. Every scene tells a story." The room was neat. Too neat. The books were in place. Nothing looked broken or disturbed. Suda stepped closer to the chair. He looked at the man's hands, then at the gun. The grip didn't look natural. He glanced at the victim's slippers, then down at the carpet. The new polices nearby don't understand why a teenager was allowed inside the scene. "See anything, Suda?" Inspector Hero asked. Suda spoke calmly. "Yes, the angle of the wound doesn't match how a right-handed person would shoot himself." He stared at the floor. "There is a scuff mark coming from the chair. It looks like it was forcibly pushed or dragged." Ramirez frowned. "That could mean anything." The wife's victim said the door was locked. When she opened it, she found her husband already dead. Suda continued, unfazed, and said, "There's also a small wound on his right arm." He looked at the desk. The papers were slightly messy, and a letter opener lay near the edge. "And the gun," Suda said. His hand is gripping it differently. "It looks like someone placed it there." The room went quiet. Inspector Hero nodded slowly. "Good work." He turned to the team. "This isn't suicide." Then he added, "Check the letter opener for fingerprints and bring the wife back in. We're checking her alibi again." The officers moved with new urgency. When the case was finally wrapped up, Suda sat on the car's bumper, staring down at his smartphone. The glow reflected in his unreadable eyes. His uncle approached, hands in his pockets. Hero's voice was calm but knowing. "You're thinking of going, aren't you?" Suda didn't answer immediately. "I'm not sure yet." Hero sat beside him. "Go, be with your siblings. I'll handle things here. And you can always visit when you miss being a young detective." That made Suda chuckle softly. They shared a brief laugh under the quiet countryside sky. But when silence returned, his heart uncertain, the weight of his family and the death of his father pulled him toward a path he could no longer ignore.